It is the Google Stadia Premier Edition, which I just received in the mail for free, as long as you consider paying a YouTube Premium subscription and then not paying for this free. We're going to talk about how it is. We're going to open it up and we're going to see in the year since this thing's been out, since Google Stadia launched, how is it? Has it gotten better? Has it gotten worse? Because honestly, whenever it first came out, there's a lot of complaints. But I mean, I did get it for free, so I probably won't complain too hard. Minus paying for YouTube Premium, which is not free. Stadia. So that's what this is, obviously. One place for all the ways we play. Now, Google Stadia does encompass a lot more than just the setup that they give you right here, which is the controller plus Chromecast Ultra. Even if the tech doesn't work that well, if I have some issues, they are pretty good at putting pictures on the box. This is pretty appealing. If I saw this at the store, I'd be like, wow, that's a good photo. Alright, enough about talking about the box. I'm going to actually open it up, which I should just be able to lift it and it'll come right off. And there we go. We have a Google Stadia controller, which I actually had already used. I'm not going to show you me playing around with it for the first time. My overall consensus on this controller is it's pretty solid. Like, it's actually not bad. I don't know what the original controller was like whenever it first came out and if it was of the same quality, but this, fairly solid. If I bought a new game console and it shipped with this, I wouldn't be upset. It's underneath where the controller lies. That's what I have no idea. I've never opened this up this far. So we have power brick cable. This, I believe, yeah, that's definitely USB Type-C. So that's probably to charge the controller. It may also be for the Chromecast, I don't know. I'm not sure if that's just instructions or telling me to do something, like perhaps it's some sort of voucher. Because it looks like there's stuff under here. Tells you how to use the controller. I'm not gonna even bother with that. This is exactly the thing that I was just talking about. Here's our Chromecast Ultra, and this is seemingly the power brick, so I will go ahead and get that all set up, and then we'll run through the actual process of using the device, not plugging in cables. I'm going to go ahead and assume that you know how to plug in AC cable. Okay, so this is immediately what happens whenever I plug in my Chromecast. This is very simple. It says get the app, open it, and if you have questions, a little question mark, go to chromecast.com/setup, and I'm gonna show you that right now, just run through it real quick. Setting up is easy. Let's get started. So we'll go to start. It says make sure you have the Chromecast, something to plug it into, a phone or tablet, Google account, and a Wi-Fi connection. All you do is you plug up your device and power it on. Got it. I wouldn't see that screen if I didn't. Then it says welcome. That's the screen I'm talking about. The number, you're going to want to know that so you can connect to it. Download the app. Once you have the app, you choose your account and where you're at. So how you want to set it up. So for example, in the Google Home, you would pick, like, if you wanted to know where your light bulb was, it would make a distinction between the home and the work. And then it'll just look for the device and it'll give you a code and you hit to connect it to Wi-Fi and then you're set up. So I will show you once I get my stuff set up what it looks like after. All right, I think something's happening. There seems to be some sort of loading screen. It took a minute for everything to update. Okay, all right, the controller is linked. So now using the Stadia controller, we can use Stadia on the TV just by turning it on, you know, like a pretty normal setup for a typical console thing. And then on here, we want to go ahead and add an account so that we can get everything set up. This is actually taking a little bit of time to set up, but I guess relative to actually downloading an update on, say, the PS5, this is probably about the same amount of time, if not faster. So I don't really have a ton to complain about in that. It just sucks that you have to, like, I have to keep going through all these different steps. Is really the thing that's annoying, whereas if you're doing a PS5 download, for example, it's immediately done. But as you can tell, it's no big deal and it is incredibly quick because I literally just did it all while we were talking. And I think I go ahead and do that. Ooh, Chromecast is at max volume. Maybe don't destroy me. Oh, I hope it doesn't play anything loud. That does not seem like a good idea, having it at max volume. And now we have to use app, which again, unfortunately, I can't capture. So I will just grab some stuff and then show you it. Now, I don't know if you know this, but I am a big fan of Risk of Rain 2 and the original game. The original Risk of Rain is fantastic. So I'm just going to do a live little playthrough real quick and see how exactly this plays through, give you my live impressions, and then I'll probably go through a few different games on my own and then talk about my experiences that I had with them. But for this one, I'll go ahead and just give you the raw playthrough. And we'll see how that goes, assuming that I have my audio set up correctly and that it isn't at max volume, which it says it is, because that will absolutely hurt. It'll hurt to listen to. It'll make me not feel good. So this is the real-time setup for this, which is why I wanted to keep this in. This is exactly what I am seeing for the first time playing through this game, and this is a fairly simple game, I will say. This is not your, next gen Halo or something. Like, this isn't some crazy game. Okay. Okay, we're moving. Latency so far, pretty all right. Don't really feel anything weird. It just feels like I'm using a controller. Doesn't feel like I'm doing anything crazy. And I can't hear, so give me a second. Okay, I have audio working, so I'm going to go ahead and run through this and just play it for a minute and kind of tell you what's happening, since I can actually, hear things. So that's really nice. And you'll be able to hear as well. So the way that Stadia works is, of course, the games are streaming. But a big thing that happens is to make sure that your latency is good and all, is while we're streaming, the resolution will dynamically scale up and down depending on what's going on with the connection. And I believe it prioritizes lowering resolution. And then after it's lowered resolution, it'll then start affecting gameplay performance. But it really tries to make sure that the gameplay is snappy and smooth. I almost said smoothie. I almost tried combining those two, smoothies are good. If you want to make your game like a smoothie, I'm totally down for it. I will drink that up. I haven't actually played this game in a few months. I don't remember it playing exactly like this. Like, this seems weird, but I'm almost certain this is the game and not that Stadia has like some special build or something. It's probably just that they've updated the game. But so far, other than me kind of like having to get used to the controller, it feels fine. I don't feel like I'm messing up anything. That's really it. I'm just like, this feels like I normally play with an Xbox controller. And this feels more like I'm playing with like a Nintendo Pro controller, which again, not a bad thing at all. This controller is definitely fine. Man, this is kind of a tough game to play, just starting off, not knowing what you're doing, and playing solo. All right, give me that. Okay, so killing enemies sets them on fire. So yeah, overall, my impressions right now is that this is smooth. If you want to play Risk of Rain 2, if you want to play a game like this runs totally fine. Now, unfortunately, I won't be able to talk about the technical specs between the titles just because they kind of scale depending on your connection. And that's really going to be my TLDR with this game, or with just this setup in general using Google Stadia. I think is really going to be, this is very reliant on your internet. If your internet's not good, if you have drops in it, if it cuts out a lot, or things of that nature, if it just isn't fast, you probably are going to have a worse experience from any of those. I also am playing hardwired. There is an Ethernet port on this. But yeah, this feels very responsive for a controller, to be fair. Like, I don't want to make it sound like this, like comparing it to PC gaming. Comparing this to console gaming, very good. Comparing it to PC gaming, you still have latency with a wireless controller. Like, you still absolutely are not just on it. What am I getting hit by? But yeah, I'm just kind of rambling on at this point. I think that this is good. I'm going to try out some more games and give you my final thoughts in a minute, I think. To speak more on the tech side, I believe a lot of these games are just going to be upscaling and not natively pushing out to 4K. I could be wrong about that. A lot of these games do render different resolutions and then upscale, and that'll have to do with like your data usage. So if you have a data cap in your area or something like that, you may want to go for, just straight up, go ahead and put it on 720p so you use way less data. Or if your internet drops out or your speed trickles up and down and just is crazy, you may want to go ahead and just cap it at 720. You'll get a lower image result, but of course it should theoretically be more stable. Okay, so I just played a round of PUBG, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, which is a game that I used to play a lot on PC. I haven't really touched it in a while, and they have this game mode on here. I guess it's like a permanent thing. They just have fun game modes, and it is Team Deathmatch, which, as you can see, I just ran into somebody. I did get moderately better in the, like, 10 minutes that I played through, but I'm gonna be honest, this runs really well, and my aim is awful. It is very weird playing this with a controller. Literally, the only complaints I have about this are not even the controller, but the fact that I am much better with the keyboard and mouse. And that's, oh my god. Yeah, see, like, look, I don't even know what's happening right now. I literally don't even see who's going on just because I'm fumbling with controls so much. But I will say that overall, it's a pretty good experience feedback-wise, not in terms of me having a good time. I'm really just trying to learn how to use a controller right now, but on the plus side, this was free with the with the pro version, which you have to pay for, but it is good. It runs really snappy. I haven't had a bunch of hitches. If you have a poor connection, yeah, like, look, I can't aim. So I'm gonna play a little bit more of this, and if anything changes, I'll let you know. Otherwise, I'm gonna swap over to a different game. So this is a different game. This is Sniper Elite. I believe V4 is what I'm playing, and already having a much better time than on PUBG. I think that's just because I didn't want to play PUBG, not because of Google Stadia. I will say that these controls feel so much better. Like, I was having a lot of trouble using, not using keyboard and mouse, using just controller in general, playing around on PUBG, but on here, and maybe it very well could be because I'm playing against bots as well, but on here I'm having a much easier time. Like, look, I feel like I can actually track them even though I didn't hit that shot. I feel like I can actually walk and be able to aim and kind of do what I need to do, whereas PUBG obviously is a lot harder of a game to just play in general. And oh my god, I'm getting absolutely destroyed. But as you can see, this is really fluid. Like, this game is actually super responsive. It even almost feels a little more responsive than Risk of Rain, which is kind of surprising to me. But I think that this title feels pretty good. I do really just kind of want to show off some of these shots. Come on. Come on, give me my... There we go! The kill shot. Yeah, so this is why you play Sniper Elite. You get the weird, crazy Mortal Kombat, slow-mo, bone-breaking, whatever, which I shouldn't call it Mortal Kombat. This game very well could have done it before Mortal Kombat started doing the weird X-ray stuff. I think. I don't know. I don't know either of those titles very well. Okay, so command post is being captured. I'm just gonna keep letting it run though. Like, I'm gonna keep playing this for a minute. You can go ahead and skip to the next one if you would like to, but I think this is doing a fairly good job at showing off how responsive this is. You know, actually, maybe I won't play this game anymore. Maybe we'll just go ahead and go to something else. You know, that showed it off pretty well, I think. I definitely didn't die. So it showed off PUBG and Sniper Elite, which are more gritty, fast-paced games. Risk of Rain is fairly fast-paced, but you know, it's more cartoony, it's more on the lighter side, and I'm going to finish it off with another game that's on the lighter side, Superhot. Now, I absolutely love Superhot. This is a fantastic game. I've actually only ever played it in VR, so this is kind of weird playing it on here. Like, just seeing this reticle is very strange to me. Are you... I can't believe I just got destroyed. I just lost already. I literally, like, yeah, I played it. I've beaten this game several times. I mean, I don't know what I'm doing, but I beat it. No, I know what I'm doing. Watch this. So yeah, I'm gonna kind of close out the video talking about my thoughts on Stadia while I go through Superhot. Wow, look at that. That's me. I'm doing that. That's crazy. Yeah, so Google Stadia, I do have the pro version of it, which I believe is a monthly subscription, and it has a bunch of different games, which is really cool, but, you know, of course you are paying for those games. But the amazing thing is if you have a bunch of games that you're getting without having to pay a ton of money, which you would with a, you know, some sort of traditional game system, then the upside is you can try all of these so quick because I don't have to download anything. So going into the different games was so easy to set everything up for this video because I'm literally just popping in and out of them, and you add them so easily. I really think Google Stadia, because of the accessibility that it has with it, I really think if you're on the fence about this, you don't need to go out and buy the like pro version or whatever. If you have a controller, or I think on the phone you can even just play without a controller. Like, I really don't think that there's a very big barrier to entry with this. And I think if you're interested in trying this out, if this is a device that seems like it could be good for you, I think just go for it, you know, just go ahead and try out some of the stuff and see what you think. Because I really am not having a bad time doing this. Now, I probably would prefer to play on my PC or PS5 or etc. But that's because I already have those. Like, if you don't have some of these games on those systems, or you don't have those systems at all, then I absolutely recommend this. The controller is solid. And not only that, all the access settings, assuming your internet just isn't awful. Wait, is this guy not dead? Uh-oh. I made a mistake. Okay. Yeah, assuming that your internet is all right, or even if you think that your internet might not be good enough, you can try it out. There's some games on there that you aren't going to have to pay for, that there isn't a big commitment. You can try out doing the pro, or, you know, there's a lot of different options depending on what's going on right now. They do throw around some different deals, so I would really just go ahead and look into it and see if you think that this is right for you. In my very brief time testing out everything, I maybe spent a half hour testing out everything. I absolutely would not say that I did extensive research on this, but in the amount of time that I spent with this to see if there were any just obvious issues, there weren't any. There weren't any. I had the resolution scale up and down a little bit. It really wasn't a big deal. And I had a pretty fun time playing some of these titles that I really like Superhot and Risk of Rain. So if you're interested in checking it out, definitely just go ahead and do that. I believe, like, for example, I believe Destiny 2. I think that that's free to play, and you can just go check that out and play it. And Destiny 2 is a pretty fun game. So I think you'll have a good old time if you need to do that. And I really think the way that this system shines is just through accessibility. I think you can even play it on your phone, which, gonna be real, that's like the super cool thing about streaming, is being able to do things like that. Being able to play games that you wouldn't be able to do on your phone. On your phone, because your phone isn't powering it. It's being powered through someone else's system, through some Google server. Just awesome. So cool. But if you don't want to play it like that, then you can still play it on your TV or on your computer even, and have a grand old time. Man, he's having a great time. Look at that. Look, that's whenever I'm having a good time, I turn into triangles. All right, well, I'm going to leave. Bye.